Hi, this video is to help you understand the expectations of the assignment. In this video, I'm going to actually show you the solution or the work-through solution that I have. So several students have emailed me about with several questions as to what certain things are supposed to look like, how are they supposed to go forward with things, etc., etc. So the first thing I want to illustrate is a couple of things, and in the videos that I've given you, I've not given you all of the answers, but hopefully I've given you enough guidance to move forward. In part one, this is the solution that I'm expecting from students. Of course, I'm using a data set that should be different than most all of you. So if you see something that's a little bit different in terms of value, meaning that if it says 3 and your answer say 4, just know that that is going to be a little different. So I'm just going to go over this real quick. And then, of course, if you have questions after this, feel free to reach out to myself or your instructor if I'm not your instructor for this course. So the first tab should be your documentation tab. And I've had a few questions from students that when they've downloaded the data, they did not see the documentation tab. And the reason for that is that the expectation is that you create this. I've created a small little documentation sample here. Your documentation does not need to look like this. It needs to have these components. It should have the title of the assignment. It should have the actual project component that you're working on. It should have your name, and it should have the date that you prepared this. And also, there should be a formula here that says when you created it. Of course, I'm creating this video on April 1st, and it will always update because I have a formula here that gives me that. If you haven't determined, that's actually a small clue to what the solution would be. In the Descriptives tab, again, I don't care how if you use the same colors, but I do care about how you go about creating this particular sheet. Now, in my example, I did not complete all of the replacements that are required of the assignment, so some of the answers here are incomplete in that respect. But what I do expect in this particular sheet is that you have descriptive statistics laid out: mean, median, standard deviation, min-max, range, count, and sum. Now, if you're looking for the actual formulas to use to complete the descriptive statistics, go back to one of the previous videos and you should be able to have that information. Now, where did I get these headers? Well, again, that would be in one of the previous videos, but I simply copied and pasted those from the data transactions data set. And of course, I'm expecting you to have a note here of what fields were imputed. Imputation, by the way, means a simple process of replacing unknown variables due to errors in the data set. So I have a small template here on what I'm expecting, but of course yours is going to be a little bit different. The last tab should be data transactions. Here is the data set. Now, everything from column A to column J in this particular data set or in this example was the data that was received through the data set that was emailed out. Everything from column K all the way to column Q are the calculated data sets. Now, I would strongly recommend that you maintain this data set in a simple range format. And what I mean by that is some of you may feel it would be easier to change this to a table. What I mean by that, if you would go to insert table and convert this to a table, that you might feel that that would be a more appropriate way of managing this. And at this point in the project, I am going to strongly recommend that you avoid that. So keep this into a simple range format. You would include your formulas in the appropriate cells to the right. And of course, all of your data would be to the left. Now, one thing that is in this solution that is not in your file, I have also included a rubric. Um, this rubric should be available to you on As You Learn. If it's not available, please contact your instructor to make it available for you. But simply, it's a point calculation of everything that you need to complete on this assignment. And this completion is how your score is going to be determined. And I would use this as a checklist to make sure that I have done everything that is expected based on this rubric. So with that, I hope that this helps you. Please let me know if you have any additional questions.